You got questions? You're in luck because I got answers. It's mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. The Seahawks on a bye week at 3-1. The vibes are good. How's the fan base feeling? It's our time to check in and see what you guys have to say from our live show, where you use the hashtag Seahawks and Super Chat with your questions and the latest news and rumors on Seattle. Let's start off with a legend here at Seahawks Today. Beta YT writes in, what do you think about every rookie on the team this season? All right, Beta YT, that's a loaded question. Let's go at it piece by piece with some of the highlights. Devon Witherspoon, phenomenal. He is him, as the kids say. JSN, a little slow, but I don't blame JSN for that. I think it more has to do with the coaching staff needing to scheme him more into the offense as far as that goes. We've seen Cameron Young has had a few moments already. Derick Hall has looked good already at times. Mike Morris is injured. There's some things some guys need to still be given opportunity to. But for the most part of the small sample size, I'm pretty pleased with this rookie class of what they've done to this point this season. It's a good group, Beta YT. Mario Lopez. Is this the Mario Lopez checking in on Seahawks Today? Mario, thanks for being here, man. What's your opinion on the Seahawks having bye week 5, or should they have it later on? Mario Lopez, I love the show Extra, Saved by the Bell. You got some great stuff, Mario Lopez. With that said, as far as the bye week goes, before the season, I was upset about having a week 5 bye week. It did not sound great. You ideally like to have your bye week about halfway through the season, so you take time off, and then you get back for the second half of the season, so it kind of evens out. But in this circumstance, where you are as injured as you are, banged up the way this team is, the week 5 bye week ain't so bad, is it? So now that I know the Seahawks circumstance and situation, I'm okay with it. Before the season, I was a little more frustrated, but I'm fine with this coming at this bye week. In all honesty, couldn't have come at a better time. AJ writes in, what D lineman would be the most realistic the Hawks pick up to beef up that line? All right, good question. And I'll say this, before I give my answer, I was a lot more concerned about the defensive line a couple of weeks ago, before we saw them pick up 11 sacks this past week against the New York Football Giants. I have been preaching to the mountaintops for weeks on end that the Seahawks team needs a lot of help when it comes to the defensive line and trying to find options. But luckily, there are guys out there that are available at this point. I mean, Randy Gregory is out there for free. He's about to be a free agent. At the time of this recording, they're shopping him, trying to look for a trade, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. He'll be available free agency. That's a guy. If you want interior, DeForest Buckner is still a name that's a possibility. I'm not ruling out the Seahawks still going after defensive line help, despite how well they played against the New York Football Giants, because they need consistency when it comes to defensive line. Alona says, will we play like this against the 49ers to win the division? Alona, it's a good question. First off, as far as the way the Seahawks played against the New York Giants, let's be real for a second. We want to see more of what we saw, but to sit here and just believe that it's a given that the Seahawks are going to have 11 sacks every game is just unrealistic. That is way out there. Should we think that the Seahawks are going to continue to play at a high level and that the defense is going to continue improving, that the pass rush is coming together? Yes, that's true. But the idea that they can replicate what they did against the New York Giants and against San Francisco, who has one of the best lines in the entire league, that just seems to be a bit of a stretch. I mean, Trent Williams is, I think, the greatest left tackle of all time. So that's a tall task, but Alona, I just don't see that happening as far as doing that again, but I do think you'll see improvement. Rev God says, did you expect this kind of season from Bobby Wagner? So let me take things back a bit to the offseason. If you recall, when we were talking about the idea of bringing Bobby Wagner back to Seattle, I remember when we made a video after it was announced he was leaving the LA Rams. We got our resources together. We made a video as quick as we could within 30 minutes or so of the news. And I said, you got to bring Bobby back. It was a mistake moving on from him. Here he goes off to LA, plays in a new scheme, puts on a different uniform. He's living somewhere else. And he was still one of, if not the best middle linebackers in the NFL last year, that he hadn't lost a step. And one of the things I had to keep telling Seahawk fans was that Bobby had not lost a step, that he wasn't coming to Seattle to save his career, that he still was an incredible football player, that he hadn't slowed down. And so am I surprised? No. Now, I've had to educate some folks and tell them, hey, just because Bobby left L.A. didn't mean that he wasn't a good football player all of a sudden. No, this is the same Bobby we've all known and loved, and the player that's going to be a future first ballot Hall of Famer that's playing at this high level. So I am not surprised because this is who he's been the entire time. And credit to John Schneider and Pete Carroll for getting a player to the caliber of Bobby Wagner for a total of $7 million. That's, I think, something when we look back at this offseason with what was a historic offseason for the Seahawks. You got Bobby Wagner back, and you got him at a major discount. Unbelievable. Great to start the Bobby season so far. It's got to be an A. I better not see any B's or C's or D's, especially no F's in that comment section. Throw those A's in there. Do it. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down to get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. Just because the Seahawks aren't playing this week, that does not mean we can't be making money. Can't get rich, kids. The Niners are playing the Cowboys. I know that this is not your two favorite teams playing, but you're definitely going to be watching because it's arguably the game of the year in the NFL so far. The ratings are going to be incredible. The Niners are favored by 3.5. The over-under is set at 45. Get your bets in on this game as well as other NFL action. If you can't root on your Hawks this weekend, you can at least wager and try to make some cash. Take advantage of that deposit bonus from BetUS. Seahawks 125, chatsports.com/bet to get your bets in today. Kaylee writes in, #Seahawks. Is the success we are seeing with Jake Bobo affecting production we are seeing with JSN in any way? Kaylee, Jake Bobo's got 4 catches total. Is that right? Or is it even less than that? It is 4. Thank you, Smitty. No, because we need more Bobo in there. I mean, like, if the number was higher, maybe, but that doesn't add up. Kaylee, I understand the Bobo hype train and all that and get the touchdown catch, all that was cool. But it's 4 catches. It's not affecting JSN. The two are not affecting each other. It was 1 touchdown. The Wizard writes in, what about Olu at center and Evan Brown at guard? Why? Evan Brown has been a major upgrade from what we saw from Austin Blythe last year. Evan Brown's doing a really good job. Olu, he's going to develop. He's the future starting center for this team. That's what it sounds like. But no. We're not doing that. Evan's doing his job just fine. There's no reason to bench Evan Brown. Kayla checks back in and says, is there any chance the Seahawks trade for Chase Young? Yes, there is. There is a chance. Chase Young might be the biggest trade deadline blockbuster player available out there. It's a weird situation in Washington. They don't necessarily have the money to pay Chase Young. He's a talented player. He's had some injury issues. He's still incredible, very young. We haven't seen him even come close to his ceiling yet. You could get him at a discount for the type of player that he is. A generational talent, former number 2 pick. And give up what? Maybe a second-round pick? Maybe a third-round pick? Don't rule it out. Especially, let's see how the pass rush looks after the bye week. And if they pick up from where they left off against the Giants, maybe they don't make a move. If the injuries continue to stack up and if the pass rush doesn't look so hot, then the chances certainly increase for a trade for Chase Young, but it's possible. Should Seattle trade for Chase Young? Weigh in. Type Y for yes, in for no. Simple as that. Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Y for yes, in for no. Subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for daily Seahawks coverage. We have a great time on the channel. I know you see me every day. Smitty's with me on our live shows we do. No one cares about the Seattle Seahawks as much as we do. Join the family. This is a movement we're doing every day. And if you're not a part of it, you're missing out because we have a hell of a time. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. Have a great one.